Hello, and welcome to Demystifying Spirituality, where I turn trendy concepts floating around in the healing and spirituality spaces into practical advice and actionable insight. Now, one term you might have heard floating around out there recently is shifting timelines. And a lot of content creators may have told you that you've shifted timelines and your new life is about to begin. And it might feel really good to hear that. And I'm sure you have made significant progress in your healing journey. However, what's missing is that practical advice that's going to get you from point A to point B, that's going to have you continue moving into the highest version of yourself. So today I'm going to break this down and give you the steps to really make change in your life in this respect. So, what are we talking about when we're talking about shifting timelines? So, what this really means is changing your life and changing the way you operate at a fundamental level. And oftentimes, this isn't going to happen overnight. With the term shifting timelines, it can make it seem as though some mystical event is going to happen overnight and you're going to be a completely new person in the blink of an eye. I'm not going to say that's impossible. Don't rule anything out of drastic changes can happen in a short period of time. However, thinking of things in that terms is often unrealistic. What's really required is to redirect your energy into worthwhile habits, pursuits, thoughts, and actions on a consistent basis. That's what's going to get you where you want to go. So let's first recognize that beyond this physical form, we're actually energetic beings. And through practices such as meditation, reading good books, just opening your mind to this sort of material, that we're actually energetic beings, and the way that we direct our energy creates the reality around us. This is what's gonna open that door for you to be able to really intentionally set the direction for your life. So let's do a little exercise right now. Go ahead and pull out your left forearm and tense and release it. So what's going on when you use your willpower to tense your forearm? This is a form of pranayama. You're directing life force to your forearm to be able to tense and release it, or even just move it up and down. So you're already very proficient at pranayama just in the respect of moving your body. However, let's also recognize that the thoughts we have and the actions we take is another form of essentially pranayama. It's directing your energy into a certain area. So when you want to change your life, you want to change negative, unproductive, neurotic thoughts. You want to transmute that into uplifting, spiritual sort of thoughts. You want to change any doubts you're having into belief and reassurance. Over time, you want to change your mindset to be much more positive and a can-do sort of mindset, that you are capable of making these changes in your life. So one way to do that is through affirmation. However, a lot of what's missing in the traditional sort of affirmation instructions that are out there is what you're going to get out of your affirmations is the focus and intention you put into it. You need to use a powerful affirmation that has a lot of intention and focus behind it. However much focus you put into it, however single-mindedly you're able to focus on that affirmation as you're repeating it with the intention to truly implement that in your life, is the result that you're going to get out of it. So stay tuned to the end of this video, because I'm going to guide you through how I practice affirmation in a powerful way. Now, another aspect of this is building powerful habits and removing negative habits. And a great way to do this is to replace any negative habits you might have with a positive one. For example, if you watch a lot of TV and movies and you want to cut back on that, perhaps replace that with something like reading. Or let's say you like to, let's say you have a smoking habit. You smoke cigarettes and you want to overcome that. Maybe every time you feel like smoking a cigarette, you go outside and go on a short walk instead. Tactically replacing bad habits with positive ones can be a good strategy. Also, whenever you have a negative thought that pops up in your head, I'm not good enough, I don't know if I can do this, replace that with I am capable, I am worthy of this change in my life. Replace it with a positive thought of any kind. And over time, that's just going to become your new normal as you continue to practice. Now, it's also important to recognize a lot of people say you can build a habit in 2 to 3 weeks. To truly build a habit such that it becomes a part of your being and a karmic tendency, that it becomes truly automatic, actually takes 3 to 5 years. It takes much longer than 2 to 3 weeks. Now, don't let that discourage you. Just recognize that if thoughts of wanting, and the same is true of truly breaking a bad habit that's fully ingrained. So, this is why you also want to be careful with the actions and thoughts that you have, because once you build that bad habit, it's going to be very difficult to break it. And this is why, even after months of being on the right track, you can backslide back into that old habit. So it's important to set the strong intention that you're really going to overcome that habit. You're really going to build that good new habit, and to be intentional with the actions, because these karmic tendencies that we create within ourselves, these sort of complexes that get activated, or some skaras that get activated through circumstances in our life, both positive and negative, are very powerful. So we want to intentionally direct our energy to create positive lifestyle habits. Now, developing your focus and your intuition through meditation is also going to help you, or whatever spiritual practice works for you. Because when you're able to live more from your center and from your intuition, your life is naturally going to unfold in a higher way, and you're going to embody spiritual qualities such as love and calmness and peace more deeply. Now, before we get into the guided affirmation, I have a book recommendation here. It's called The Wheel of Time by Carlos Castaneda. And this is a really interesting book. It's just filled with like short little quotes. You can just open it, read a few quotes, and put it down throughout the day. And this goes through the beliefs of the ancient shamans of Mexico. And they talk a lot about the warrior mindset of setting intentions and following through on that in a very profound way. And there's a lot of different aspects that are touched upon, as well as really using your consciousness to direct your energy in a prosperous manner. You know what? Let's just open it up and read a random quote here. The art of the warrior is to balance the terror of being a man with the wonder of being a man. And here's another one. The average man is either victorious or defeated, and depending on that, he becomes a persecutor or a victim. These two conditions are prevalent as long as one does not see. Seeing dispels the illusion of victory or defeat or suffering. So this is just a really profound, applicable, and entertaining read, so I'd highly recommend it. Now, without further ado, let's get into the guided affirmation. So I'd recommend sitting down and closing your eyes. And before you close your eyes, what I'd actually recommend to get the most out of this affirmation or really for any meditative practice, is to upturn your eyes gently towards the spiritual eye. This is the center of intuition and spiritual perception. So as you direct your focus there, these affirmations are going to be more powerful. Now, what often happens when people first begin to do this is they turn their eyes too far. So what I'd recommend, put a finger right here on the spiritual eye in between the eyebrows, and then just move your finger out a couple inches from your forehead in a straight line. And then turn your eyes toward the tip of your finger and close your eyes. That's where you want to position your eyes during meditation and affirmation, or really any spiritual practice. So go ahead and sit down. I'd recommend just sitting up straight with a straight spine, feet flat on the floor, or whatever your preferred meditation posture is. And then close your eyes and upturn your eyes toward the spiritual eye. Now, as I repeat this affirmation, focus on deeply feeling into the meaning and really feeling the meaning of those words as you repeat after me. You're welcome to repeat this affirmation aloud, several times loudly, several times in a normal voice, and several times in a whisper, and then go on repeating it mentally, or you're welcome to just repeat this affirmation after me mentally in your head. Now, after I finish this affirmation, I'm going to go ahead and just end the video so that if you want to stay in that meditative state and continue to repeat the affirmation, you can do so. So close your eyes, upturn towards the third eye, and let's begin. Repeat each section after me as I speak it. I come from God. I am life eternal. I live, move, and have my being in that power evermore. I come from God. I am life eternal. I live, move, and have my being in that power evermore. I come from God. I am life eternal. I live, move, and have my being in that power evermore. I come from God. I am life eternal. I live, move, and have my being in that power evermore. I come from God. I am life eternal. I live, move, and have my being in that power evermore. I come from God. I am life eternal. I live, move, and have my being in that power evermore. I come from God. I am life eternal. I live, move, and have my being in that power evermore. I come from God. I am life eternal. I live, move, and have my being in that power evermore. Now continue to repeat that affirmation mentally, deeply feeling into the meaning.